Hello my dear friends, thank you for joining me for another episode of Blind Man Plays, and for today we are looking at the Sega Master System again. I've really enjoyed my time with this system lately and I've been playing quite a few games it's had to offer, and I want to say thank you for the first Master System video that I put out there, as really seems to have struck a chord with you guys, and I noticed quite a few of you have been watching that video, and this by the time this video goes out, there'll be a second video of Master System games based on movies. But I hope you guys enjoy that one as well. By the time this goes up, that actual video would have been out probably about a week or so. But I just want to say thank you to everyone for once again watching the videos, for taking the time to subscribe to the channel, and drop this video a like. It really does help YouTube algorithm basically push out the videos to others like yourself who may enjoy the content. So for today we're looking at the Sega Master System, because I played a lot of games and recorded a lot of footage, and I want to share that with you guys. So today we're looking at Sega Master System ports and versions that were actually a lot of fun. So we're starting today's batch of games with Cool Spot. Now, Cool Spot came out in 1993 on the Sega Genesis / Mega Drive and the Super Nintendo in 1993, and it was ported to the Amiga, the Master System, and other consoles. I remember having this for the first time on the Amiga. This is the Sega Master System version. Now, Cool Spot was at the time the mascot for 7-Up, for the soft drink 7-Up. And it's at a time where drinks companies and food companies, etc., were using video games as a means of advertising. So the game in its essence is kind of a cheap cash-in, but yet it's a fairly decent platformer, and I love how well the graphics have actually translated. Even though they've gone from 16-bit to 8-bit, they haven't really lost that much. Obviously there's a lot of background and things that have been, there's a lot more detail in like the 16-bit counterparts. But the Master System version still kind of holds up. It still plays very well. The interaction with the enemies, etc., and the way Spot controls is pretty good. And as a platformer goes, this is quite a bit of fun. This is definitely a game I would recommend just for a bit of nostalgia's sake. As sort of cheap cash-in games go, this isn't so bad, and very much translates to the beautiful colour palette of the 8-bit Sega Master System. Outrun. Now, Outrun is a port from the arcade, and the first thing that stands out about this game is the music. There's something sublime about the music, the soundtrack that plays in the background. It's like you're driving through some like sort of country lanes on a Sunday evening. It's like you're going for a Sunday drive. It's just got that really sort of cool, majestic sort of vibe to the music. Have a listen. So the point of Outrun is to beat the clock. Now, I'm not normally a big fan of games where you're beating the clock challenge, but I really enjoyed this, and it's really easy to control. A lot of 3D counterparts could actually take some inspiration from this, because the controls of this game are absolutely brilliant. This is a port from the arcade game of the same name, and obviously came out on other systems as well. But again, the graphics are nice and simple, but there's enough detail going on, and it's a pleasurable, relaxing driving game. It's not sort of intense. It's a game that This is what I kind of liked about the Master System, where it had such a diverse range of games. There were some games you played when you really wanted to be, you know, when you really wanted some intensity, and there's other games that you played that, you know, they were just nice and relaxing. And this is one of the more relaxing games where you can really sort of just spend a bit of time cruising along a seafront, or cruising through the map across. I believe there's more than one course, you know. But I've only sort of played through a small portion of this game, because I probably suck at beating the clock, but I still enjoying it. It's weird with some of these games. It's like games now, you know, you probably got to play them for a good couple of hours before you really get into any meat of them, and that's the case for driving games, for RPGs, for any type of games nowadays. Unless you're looking at indie titles, you know, back in the day you could literally just sort of put a game in and have just 10-15 minutes of fun with them, and you know, it would still be worthwhile. And this is again one of those games. Definitely recommend Outrun. Lemmings. Now, you guys know that I have featured Lemmings a couple of times now on this channel, and I am a sucker for the old Lemmings games. This is a port of the Amiga game, which came out on the Amiga, DOS, and I think the Atari ST, and then it was ported to other consoles. Now, the biggest thing with this is obviously you're using a control pad rather than using a mouse, and it doesn't really lose anything. The control pad actually controls the cursor quite quickly and easily, and it's nice and big, so you can keep track of where it is on the screen. You're not, you know, constantly looking for it. As with any other version of Lemmings, you've basically got these lemmings that you have to guide through a stage, and you have to give them certain tasks. There's some lemmings that become statues, so they block the way, so all the lemmings don't fall off cliffs. You can give them parachutes, some of them dig. There's a whole plethora of different tools that you can give your lemmings to make sure they don't die a hideous and horrible death. And you're basically guiding them home through different obstacles. And as a strategy game, this is just highly addictive. I absolutely love the Lemmings games. I've probably featured them now a bit more on this channel. I know I've featured them at least, I think I featured them in the CDI video and the Christmas video. But if I had a Master System and didn't have it on any other console, I would still be just as addicted to Lemmings as I am playing it on the Amiga or playing it on another platform. It's still as colourful, the music still stands up, and it's basically Lemmings. It's fantastic. The only thing it's not got is the cartoon intro. Streets of Rage. Now, this is basically Streets of Rage ported from the Mega Drive to the Master System. You play as Adam, Blaze, or Axel. It has got the limitations of only having 2 enemy sprites on screen at once, but it doesn't really lose anything in this. The way in which the attacks work, the way in which you confront the enemies is still quite challenging. The boss fights are still a lot of fun. You're still able to pick up lots of weapons that you can use, and the enemies have a range of attacks that they use on you, and you've got a range of attacks. You can do throws, you can do punches and kicks, etc., which is quite surprising how well, even though you've got the downgrading graphics, how much fun Streets of Rage still is on the Sega Master System. Okay, it's not as good as its Genesis counterpart in the sense of the atmosphere of the game and, you know, how colourful and bright and detailed it is. But as a side-scrolling beat-em-up, you know, it's still good. It's still got that kind of arcade quality, and the Master System did this very well. We've seen this with Double Dragon. It does the side-scrolling beat 'em up quite well as a game goes. You know, the enemies come out of different places. They come out of doors or come out of windows behind you. There's a lot of sort of creativity in making sure that though you haven't got as many enemies on the screen at once, you do have a wide variety in ways in which they can be interacted with. I just wanted to say a thank you to everyone who has interacted with the channel so far. The views that I've gotten on some of these videos have been absolutely overwhelming. I am now uploading every Wednesday and Sunday, so I will have new videos around 8 PM every Wednesday or Sunday. I'm going to try and stick to 8 PM. It might be slightly before or slightly after. Every Wednesday on a Sunday at 8 PM I'm going to be putting new videos out for you guys to watch. Again, if you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing and dropping a like on this video. I'd like to reach 100 subscribers by the end of January. You guys can help me do that if you really enjoy this content. Thank you so much. Streets of Rage 2. Now again, this is very, very similar. So the three characters you can play as is Axel, Blaze and Skate is the new character. I believe there's a character less than the Mega Drive. I'm not entirely certain here. It's been a while since I've played Streets of Rage 2 on the Mega Drive. But again, you know, this is probably not as good as the first game, but it still holds up quite well. The boss fight was quite intense. It's not as forgiving as the first game, I can tell you that much for certain. As adaptations go, it's really good. Altered Beast. Now, Altered Beast is a game that I remember having when I was younger. You basically are this character going through like ancient Greece, and you fight what look like sort of skeletons or zombies or some sort of like monstrous thing, and you also fight different animals and things. And he collects power-ups. I think he collects power-ups, so it's done by killing enemies, where he becomes bigger or he can transform into a different beast. The Master System port, this is very, very slow, it's very, very clunky, it's very, very punishing, but it's one of those games that kind of sticks in the memory. I don't think I've ever like passed the second level of it, but it's one of those games that like you had when you were a kid, and if you had it when you were a kid, it sticks in your memory, and it's one of those games that like you always remember it being better than it actually was. Like playing this version now, maybe it's the fact I'm playing an emulated version here, and it does feel a bit clunky. It does feel a bit like there's sort of a lot of clipping in the textures of like the different sprites, etc. So it does feel a bit sort of off. But I remember the game being a bit more sort of accessible than this on the original hardware. I'll have to dig out the original hardware one day and sort of figure this out if that's the case. But quite frankly, Altered Beast is still one of those games that is fondly remembered. Desert Strike. Now, to be perfectly honest with you, with slimmed down controls and slimmed down graphics, I didn't really see much difference between this version, the Amiga version, and the Mega Drive version, other than the fact that obviously the Mega Drive and the Amiga versions were much prettier. It's based on missions in the Gulf, loosely sort of after the war in Iraq. I know it was inspired, I think Desert Strike and Desert Strike 2 that were inspired by that particular conflict, just like the Call of Duty games are inspired by World War II and more modern conflicts in recent times. Basically, you play as a helicopter and you have various missions to undertake, destroying enemy targets, destroying enemy bases, and rescuing hostages. Now, personally, I find this game very difficult to get the hang of, but it's also a game that I would like to be able to learn to play more of. For me, with my eyesight, it's probably a steeper learning curve than it would be for the average person. But as far as I can tell, now you can correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section below, this is a pretty, goddamn good port of Desert Strike. Just, it's slightly less graphically impressive than its counterparts. I think it pulls it off really, really well. So yeah, I would definitely recommend checking this one out. And to be perfectly honest with you, this might be the version I actually attempt to play, because the slimmed down graphics for me actually help me being able to identify, what certain targets are and certain things I need to do in order to progress in the game. So I might actually start off with this version first and then work my way up to the 16-bit versions. And finally for today's video, Strider. Now, Strider is basically set in the year 2048 and you play as the hero known as Hyru. Now, Strider came out in the arcades and it came out on the Sega Mega Drive. I remember it coming out on the Mega Drive, and it actually being ported to the Master System. As Master System ports go, again, it's it does the job. It's still a lot of fun. The hit detection's really, really good. The fact that Strider can climb up walls and traverse the environment is also really good. Now, I remember the PlayStation 3 version of this coming out probably about 10 years ago, where it was really sort of like amped up and just like it was impressive. Is it as impressive as this version as the arcade version? Probably not, but it's still an impressive game. And it's still a game which is quite challenging, but also a lot of fun, and a game I will be going back to and continuing with on this system. So yeah, I again want to recommend Strider because it is a fantastic arcade port. Okay guys, so that was a bunch of games that were ported to the Master System, which is still today a lot of fun. What games on the Master System did you enjoy playing? What arcade ports did you enjoy playing on the Master System? Is there a game that you played in the arcade that came out on the Master System you were like, I can't believe they released this? Is there a game like that you have in general? Let me know in the comments section below. And thank you guys once again for joining me for this video. My name is Jared Walters, this is Blind Man Plays, and I'll see you next time for another video. Take care.